G'day team, Uncle Jojo, welcome checker to another rip-roaring episode. So today we're going to check out the Isuzu D-max. So I had to, some would say downgrade because I had to go from a manual to an auto, and others will say I upgraded. I did a lot of research on my four-wheel drive and I spoke to one of the most amazing mechanics I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, Mr. Collette, Shane Collette. Thank you very, very much for your word of influence and expertise. If you do have questions about cars, I suggest, I've got a huge suggestion, and you go to a mechanic that works in the industry or has worked in the industry on the four-wheel drives or on race cars or on whatever kind of vehicle you're going for. What you want to do is go to a mechanic that works or has worked on those and can give you an insider's point of view, whether that be the cost of it, where you can bring it, the longevity of it, how it's built, the cost of maintenance on it, like if bits do break, how easy it is to get the bits and pieces. I know I'm ranting a little bit and I'm off my D-max. I'm off my D-max rundown review, but I just have to suggest how important it is to use the knowledge of tradies, skilled tradies that are in the industry and know it. They'll be able to tell you so many things about it. So back onto it. Big shout out to all you tradies out there. Back onto it. This is the D-max. Is a 2018 series. I got it in 2019 in October, and I've just clicked over 16,000 Ks in it. I didn't really want to give you a review before that until I'd given it a really good test run and see how she went. And she did. She is a ripper of a car. Only came with 3 leafs in the back end, 3 leafs being part of my suspension system in the back end. I did write a letter to complain about it. I guess other people did too, because it's been upgraded free of charge to 5 leafs, which has been much better. It actually, if I loaded anything in the back, it actually started driving on a bit of an angle, and if I was down the freeway, it was very airy, so it wasn't too good that way. I have been, having now done 16,000 Ks, I have taken it up into the hills and done a fair bit of the high country with her. I don't have a winch or anything on it. I wanted to see how she would go with her traction control on the low 4, on the high 4, all of the things in between, and it has been an absolute ripper of a car. I cannot fault it to this point so far. Mechanically or four-wheel drive wise, been really handy with the four-wheel drive turn button, going up and down those really steep hills up in the high country. That has come in an absolute ripper. Also clicking it over the gear from drive to actual how would you say, manual gear shift has been fantastic. I've used that on those hill climbs flat out and it's been really good. Hasn't skipped a beat yet. The heating system is really good. Let's have a quick look at this. Let's have a tour over this little ripper of a car. Let's have a look. So, 2 USBs here, or 3. 1 USB, 2 USB, 3 USB, plus cigarette lighter there, and a cigarette lighter in here too somewhere. I love this. This is a dual glove box. I love the dual glove box. It's been an absolute ripper. There's the other one. There's another plug-in there. So there's 2 plug-ins, 2 tool glove boxes, one big one, one small one. Super handy. My little spot under here, pocket, another one over here. These are good. These little drink holders are good. Being able to open that up, get some change or whatever you want into there. That's been pretty handy. Cigarette lighter, sorry, my ashtray. If you wanted an ashtray, I just use it for my change. And then another little spot for a drink or more change. I leave all my business cards in there. Very handy again. Oh, push button start. Did I mention that? Push button start. Love the push button start. Coming down into my gears and being able to push it over is fantastic. I absolutely love that, being able to use that on those big hill climbs going up and down. Handbrake is next to my hip, which is good. radio is really nice. It's got a few different things. You've got your AM, FM, you've got your disc, you've got USB, iPod, auxiliary, Bluetooth, and HDMI. My favourite part is my navigation. I love the navigation. It's come in really handy. So I can go to navigation and that can give me, I can just program in where I want to go. New route, multi-point, blah blah blah, and it can save it and all of that kind of jazz. The only problem is it doesn't hook into the satellite. So although it might take me say on this point it takes me half an hour, it won't actually give me up-to-date readings with the traffic. It'll just tell me from A to B how long that'll take. Not really like your GPS as you would on your phone. So that's the only problem with this one, but it tells me where all the speed cameras are as well, so where to be really conscious or cautious of the cameras, the phone cameras and all those things now as well. Not that I would drive with my phone, mind you. I do have that plugged in. I do really like the hazard lights up here, really quick and easy to get. This temperature is fantastic, straight up, straight down. Auto just pumps it straight up. Watch this. Auto just pumps it up any minute now. Oh well, it's going to make me a liar. Usually it'll just add the fan straight away. Change your modes wherever you want to. Turn the fan down, turn it off. Your back to mister, your front to mister. Front windscreen, back windscreen, recycled air, through air. The other part is on this is the steering wheel. This is very special. There's a few things here actually. Let's start with the steering wheel, but I want to go through these because I found this really cool. On the end of the blinker, on the end of my windscreen wiper is a button. And when I press that button, it changes my dashboard to the left. And the same thing on my blinker on the right hand side. When I press this, it goes the other way. And sometimes I think I'm in Space Invaders and I can go through it, but it is really, really handy. With the DPD level, that shows me how much pollution or where it's at and all that kind of jazz, which has been fantastic, and it burns that out of the way. I can select my mode. I can move across. It's showing me how many Ks I've done up to date. So there you go. I'm almost on 17,000 now. And I also see how much fuel I've been using per tank and how many litres per 100 Ks, which has been really good because it actually shows me the difference between using BP fuel, Caltex fuel, or any of those. If I'm pushing my foot down flat on the accelerator, that'll tell me how much I'm drinking. So if I'm going up a hill, I've got a full load, I might use 43 litres going up a hill, whereas when I'm coming down, I can just put it on cruise and it won't use hardly any. My average speed, there you go, has been 32, and the distance I've been traveling 6,000 at that. So I mean, look, overall it gives you a great rundown of your history of driving and how much you're using. This is actually one of my favorite things, is the range I've got left. Although it did lie to me a couple of weeks ago when I was trying to get used to this, and I did run out of fuel, which was a little bit embarrassing, but let's not talk about that. But it does give you a really good rundown of exactly how many, and I have been averaging on this beautiful girl, how many? Probably about 700 to 750 on any city driving, and country driving I'd say 800 to 850. 850 has probably been my best one yet, and that was a really nice straight run straight up the freeway. Sat on probably it was on about 9.1 litres per 100 Ks, and it worked beautifully. Ran really well. Into country, it ran fantastically. The vents on this are fantastic. The speakers on it are also really good. A couple of small things though is it'd be nice to have some fans in the back blowing to any of my passengers. It'd be good to have some kind of heating system in the back there. It does have the speakers, but it doesn't have a heater or cooler for anybody in the back. So on those really stinky days, you have to have their fan going flat out. Central locking's been really good. I do have all of my bits and pieces on the door here. So I can lock the car if I want to. I can stop the windows going up and down. I've also got the other 4 windows here. Now, here I've got the brightness of my dashboard, and I've also got my left-right electric mirror. So electric mirrors I love. I never had them, I never grew up with them, but they've been fantastic. This here is a ripper. This here, watch this. Ooh. So when I'm parking, I can fold those in and they're not going to get damaged. It's also really good if I'm going forward driving and I've got to worry about some branches or stuff. I don't have to pull them in. Back seat, nice and roomy, very roomy. It's been fantastic. I can sit the baby seat in there, and the hook for the baby seat has been fantastic. Really easy to get to. I can also lift just one of these seats up and get underneath, which is good. And then the other 2 are on a different lifter, which is been really handy as well, especially trying to get the kids in the back. Another feature on this, let's go back. Another feature on this is the eco. The eco fuel, that's also been really good. Shows me my history on that, how much I'm using, where I'm using it, the consumption and all of those kind of things. That helps me a lot. I'm a bit of a stickler nowadays for how much fuel I'm using, where I'm using it and things like that. So it's been pretty damn good that way in understanding how much fuel, where I can use it, all that kind of thing. Another really good section has been working with Isuzu in the fact where the first 2 services have been free, and any of their fixing, they've done the fixing of the ute. So the tray, I needed to upgrade to the from a tub to a tray. So they took care of that for me, and the rack system, they really took care of that with, I think it was Triple M, which are up in Queensland. Sent down the tray, and they took care of all of that for me, which was fantastic. Let's just go for a quick drive and see how she goes. Follow with me. And then we'll have a walk around the tray, yeah? We also have, when we put it into reverse, we have our reverse camera there. You can see that there. And it's got a nice little judge. You know, you've got the red bar, which is exactly the back. Watch here. So you can see that little white line. That is exactly where the tray is, which is fan-bloody-tastic, I have to say. She accelerates well, she drives well. I've had no problems with her so far. Acceleration, it is a little bit slower than my manual. I have always driven a manual. So to go from a manual to an automatic is a learning curve for me. But all in all, the acceleration, although it might be a little bit different to the manual, now that I'm getting used to it, I know how to treat the motor or the engine and how I can get something from it. She goes up hills really well. I've got no problems with her, the way that she does that. Pulls really well. That helps a lot with the aluminium tray. No tools on the back yet, so we're about to get the tool boxes on the back. That'll make a big difference as well, I would say. Pairs up to the Bluetooth, which has been really good and handy. Power steering, fantastic steering ability. Goes everywhere, does everything. It's just an all-round nice, reliable ute to be using, and pretty damn tough so far. I had to change from the tub to the tray. I didn't find the tub had enough space, and I find them a little bit useless when it comes to working on site. I have to lean over the tub and then I end up scratching the whole thing. If I use a tray, I don't have any problems with that. We're just gonna have a quick stop and we'll have a look over that tray in a second. Let's step out and have a quick look at the tray, shall we? So if we look on the tray, the one problem that I did have was this bolt came straight out, which was a bit of a pain in the ass. But all in all, being an aluminium tray, it is very, very light and nice to use. The side clips are plastic, which I'm not a big, huge fan of, but, oops. But if you see that, these clip off really easily. And so they're nice and light, so they clip off, clip on. So I can have flatbed if I want to have a flatbed. which comes in super handy. Another thing is that my old ones had the bolt coming through here, so I was able to take off this side separate to taking off that. So if I wanted to keep that on, then I could, or done up, I could. I didn't have to undo the whole side tray. The rear, the tie-down bars are also pretty good. They're nice and sturdy, and they do go all the way through with only a very little gap in between, which is really quite handy. The tub or the cab protector is a great one. This is actually metal, not aluminium, so it's a little bit sturdier. And make sure anything in this back tray section can't actually slide through and go through that back window. So I'm really happy about that. One problem is that little fin that's on the top there. You can see that little fin. That little fin does get in the way when I get timber on the top. I don't want it to hit it. So I am looking at getting maybe a piece of rubber to slide across the top of that. These is fold down. That does also help if I'm going to be putting my plasterboard sheeting on top of that. That comes in really handy. Aluminium again, that's quite hefty and nice and strong, and it's got these uprights which gives it just that little bit extra strength. They come down and they're bolted in, so it does give it extra strength, and it does give me the ability to be able to make sure that they're not going to bend or anything if I load those right up. I do have two toolboxes to go in the back here, one on this side, one on that side, like I would usually, and then there's a gap in the center here. What that does is it allows me to get my tools in and nicely locked up, but it also allows me to load anything in between. My shovels, my wheelbarrow, anything like that goes straight in the center, and I've got easy access to it. If you look at the drawer system on the back, this drawer system on the back is an absolute ripper. It just slides. It's got ball bearings on it, and it just slides. You can see the ball bearings just in here. Sliding on those. It's nice and smooth the whole way. Just got to make sure it doesn't fill up with dust. That's probably a big thing, so we might need to put seals around that. You also got to watch out with the more things that we put on the back, the more weight it's going to come towards the back. There's a huge gap between where that back wheel is spaced and the end of this tray. So what we want to do is try, and we've got these already jacked up, so that's got 5 leaps on it. We might end up putting another 2 leaps on it just to give it that little bit extra strength or rigidity in the back end. Here we've got our side runners. These were aftermarket. They are pretty good, but that's all, just pretty good. They're not 4-wheel drive side runners or anything. As I said before, the mirrors are electronic, which come in handy, and I do have on this the wind protector. So they're fantastic, the wind protectors. And also on the roof, you've got these bars. So if I want to load something in between, I can just get those connectors that run in between, and then we can actually rest a basket on the top of that, which is also really good. So there you have it, folks. That is the Isuzu D-max 2018, 16,000, just a little bit over on the clock. Been a fantastic ute. I have to give it, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 nails. They absolutely nailed it. Thank you very much, Dmax. Absolutely loving this ute, Isuzu. Any questions or queries about it, flick it over and I'll answer it for you best I can, whenever I can. Thanks for watching. Like always, stay unreal banana peels. I'll see you in the soup.